Out, but Captain Traore and Burkina Faso, as they know that both, whether it's their gold reserves, that is all those proceeds are just in exchange to protect the junta regime.
When it's a black person who behaves like that, it really hurts. First, it's Burkina's gold, it's not his gold. That's the first thing. What business is it of his? Second thing, he's lying. If he was sent to create a problem in Burkina, as they are used to doing, well, we'll get ready. We'll be waiting for them.
Captain Ibrahim Traoré has just shocked the world by taking on a powerful U.S. general. In a heated clash that is setting the internet on fire and keeping world leaders on high alert, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the president of Burkina Faso, has just gone head-to-head with General Michael Langley, the head of AFRICOM, military command in Africa. Not just a clash of words, it is a fight for beliefs, freedom, and Africa's future role on the global stage.
In any case, we are free to establish relations with whomever we choose. That is what independence means. So, on this matter, they can continue to think whatever they want. As for us, we will go wherever we want, as long as the partnership can, in any case, be mutually beneficial for both parties. Regarding those remarks, as you mentioned, we protested through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That was one thing. But I don't know what happened with that general. There is still a problem. And I would perhaps like him to admit his mistake if he was sent, and to understand that this was not the right mission. If he was misled, he should say so publicly, or otherwise admit before the Senate that he was mistaken. Or also, if it was done with bad intentions, well, we will confront him as we should, because everything he said is a lie. And it's really shameful to see an adult lie, to see an adult, a general officer of a great army lie. This is very serious.
What is this all about? Why is a military leader from Burkina Faso locking horns with one of America's top commanders? And what does this mean for Africa, the US, and the global stage? Let's start from the beginning and unpack the drama and the risks involved. April 2025, General Michael Langley stood in front of a room full of American senators. As a top US military leader, he was the first Black American to lead AFRICOM, which handled America's military work in Africa, like fighting terrorism and maintaining strategic interests across Africa. During his speech, he dropped a huge accusation. He claimed that Captain Traore was misusing Burkina Faso's $4 billion gold reserves, one of the largest in Africa, not to benefit his people, but to protect his junta and sustain his military rule. But Langley didn't stop there.
Out, but Captain Traore and Burkina Faso, as they know that both, whether it's their gold reserves, that is all those proceeds are just in exchange to protect the junta regime. There's a number of examples across. Even in Sudan, what's going on with the rapid support forces and Burhan of the Sudan forces, when you get down to it, is all about the revenue that can be drawn out of that, and there are nefarious actors in the CCP or in sometimes Russia are complicit in those activities.
Suggested that Traore's actions were part of a broader pattern of corruption. He claimed that Traore made shady deals with other countries like Russian forces in exchange for gold. These are serious allegations, especially since Burkina Faso is Africa's fourth largest gold producer, and that wealth could transform the lives of its 23 million citizens. This was not a random comment, it was meant to make Traore look bad. But instead of staying a quiet Senate talking point, Langley's words went viral, especially in Africa. Why would a US general single out Traore like this? For one, Burkina Faso's shift away from Western allies like France and toward Russia has frustrated the US and other Western powers. Traore's decision to kick out French troops and get closer to Moscow, evidenced by his trip to Russia in May 2025 for World War II commemorations, has made him a thorn in the side of Western interests. Langley's comments appear to be part of a broader US strategy to discredit leaders who challenge American influence. His words sounded like a threat. Don't mess with the way things were. Was he telling the truth, or just trying to stop a leader who dared to rewrite the rules? Well, when Traore heard his comments, he didn't just sit back and take the criticism. He fired back without hesitation. April 22, 2025, just weeks after Langley's Senate testimony, Traore sat down for an interview in Russia with a news channel. It was in this interview that Traore responded to General Michael Langley. He responded in a way that set the internet on fire. To defend himself, he turned the tables on Langley and the US entirely. Traore called out what he saw as hypocrisy, accusing Western powers of exploiting Africa's resources for centuries while criticizing African leaders who try to take control of their own wealth. So Langley was fierce and straight to the point. That gold is ours, not yours. He said, his voice full of strength. Why is a foreign general talking about our business? That gold belongs to our people. He said Langley was wrong and that Burkina Faso never had gold reserves until Traore's government started saving it. So why was Langley saying something else?
Well, he talked about Burkina's gold being used for what? For us, to protect ourselves and all that. First, it's Burkina's gold, it's not his gold. That's the first thing. What business is it of his? It's none of his business. It's Burkina's gold. It doesn't concern him. Second thing, he's lying. Because Burkina never had any gold reserves until we came.
Langley knew what he was doing. He knew that Traore was putting the gold into Burkina Faso's treasury, something new for the country, and it changed everything. For years, the US and other Western powers had taken Africa's riches, but Traore wanted that wealth to stay in Africa. However, the West was not okay with that happening. But Traore didn't just talk about gold. He went further, questioning why a Black American general like Langley would be used to attack an African leader fighting for true independence. It hurts me to see a Black man used to attack another Black man, he said, sounding both angry and sad. He said Western countries like the US have a history of using Black people to hurt other Black people. Like in movies where Black characters are always the bad guys, or in real events like the destruction of Libya. This has to stop, he said.
And the part that hurt me the most, not because he's a general or because he's American or anything like that, but because he's Black. And it really hurts to see a Black man being used to fight against another Black man. And this didn't start just now. It has to stop.
He called Langley's words lies and demanded that he take them back and apologize. If he was tricked, he should say so. If he meant it, we'll deal with him, Traore said.
If he was sent to create a problem in Burkina, as they are used to doing, well, we'll get ready. We'll be waiting for them. Because this has to stop now.
He even mentioned a recent failed coup in Burkina Faso, suggesting it might be connected to Langley's visits to nearby countries. Was Traore just guessing, or did he know something we don't? His words were a challenge, and they were about to light a fire. The world was watching, and Africa was ready to respond. In the interview, he also bragged about his government's work, like building health centers and helping farmers for free, saying no one else had done so much.
And he forgot to mention everything we are doing for Burkina Faso. What we are doing, no other regime has accomplished. That's it, the socio-economic development of Burkina Faso, who has done... Look, we are building many health centers, equipping them with medical devices for examinations and lowering the costs of medical tests. Which regime has done the same? No one. We are taking action in agriculture, plowing farmers' fields for free. Our production is increasing and everything. Who has done that? No one.
But some people are pointing out that there are still other problems, like the ongoing fighting against jihadists and the level of poverty in Burkina Faso. Is Traore's confidence the right move, or is he pushing too far? Whatever he is doing it for his people. Traore's speech wasn't just talk. It started a movement. In Burkina Faso's capital, thousands of people filled the streets, shouting, "Our gold, our future." They held signs calling Langley a tool of Western control, and some waved flags of Russia, showing that they supported Traore's new alliances. From cities in Nigeria to Kenya, citizens of other African countries marched in support, cheering Traore as a leader who speaks for them. And the fight blew up. People shared Traore's interview, and the response was massive. One person wrote, "Langley's trying to keep Africa down, but Traore's fighting for us." Another post with thousands of likes asked, "Why is a Black general helping the West control Africa?" Many people were angry at Langley's comments, but not everyone agreed. Traore's deals with Russia were risky, that it was like jumping from one boss to another, and it is a dangerous gamble. But the deeper issue, the one about race and loyalty, hit hardest. In Senegal, elders from the village tied to Langley's family asked him to rethink his actions, saying he is part of Africa's family. Black Americans online argued over whether Langley was wrong or just doing his job. Traore's call for Black people to stand together felt like a wake-up call, reminding everyone of a long history of being divided by outsiders. Would this bring people closer or push them apart? The fight is growing, and it is not slowing down anytime soon.
And it really hurts to see a black man being used to fight against another black man. And this didn't start just now. It has to stop. You see, it's very dangerous. Even Libya, who destroyed Libya, once again they used a black man. In movies back in the day, in America, black people always played the bad guy. We told ourselves, it's just in the movies. But why do black people have to keep playing the bad guy? The black race should not be used to fight against black people. Every time it's the same thing. It's always the same. And that's what we deplore. And it really hurt us to see that it was a black person making these statements.
General Langley had a chance to calm things down, but he didn't take it. On May 13, 2025, during a press briefing in Washington, D.C., Langley was asked about the backlash and calls for an apology. His response? It's an insult to ask me to apologize to Ibrahim Traoré. I'm a 4-star general protecting American interests. I'm not here to make juntas happy. He also added that Traoré was intentionally stirring up the African youths to cause trouble, and he promised to stop Traoré's influence in the region. His response showed how worried the U.S. is. Africa is changing, with countries like Burkina Faso and others in the Sahel region saying no to Western control and making deals with Russia or China. Langley's job is to keep America strong in Africa, but Traoré's actions are making that harder. By refusing to apologize, Langley made it clear the U.S. is not backing down. But is he not making things worse for America's image in Africa? The fight is not just about Traoré and Langley, it is about who gets to control Africa's future. Langley's accusations show that the West does not want to lose its grip on Africa's wealth. But Traoré wants to use his country's gold to help his people, not foreign companies or countries. His new partnerships with Russia and other African countries show he wants Africa to choose its own path. Why is this so hard for the West to agree with? In African cities, leaders are watching Traoré and are being inspired to stand up for their own countries. Countries like Chad and Senegal are already telling foreign soldiers to leave, following Traoré's lead. On social media, young Africans are comparing Traoré's words to quotes from heroes like Thomas Sankara, dreaming of a free Africa. The issue Traoré brought up adds a big layer to the story. By calling out Langley, a black general, he pointed to a pain truth. History is full of examples where black people were used to hurt other black people, from old colonial times to today. Although Langley's position is tricky, as a black American, he is caught between his job and the expectations of Africans who see him as one of their own. By standing firm, he is choosing his duty to the U.S., but it is costing him support in Africa. Langley's AFRICOM is now in trouble. Many Africans see it as a way to control, not help, their countries. Traoré's plea for black unity is a call to break that cycle. It is why so many young Africans and people in the diaspora are listening. Traoré's stand is a spark for some and a warning for others. His words against Langley are a bold plan for an Africa that answers to no one. Whether he wins or loses, he has started something that won't stop. But what will this mean for Africa's role in the world?
It's true that they may regret it through various channels. They're trying to make up for it. Now that it was said publicly, it needs to be made right publicly. That's how it is for us. We're no longer engaging in diplomatic hypocrisy, as we like to say. Saying things loudly and clearly, and then coming back later to say, no, we're sorry, we didn't mean it. That's not enough. It needs to be said publicly. So I invite them to make amends, to say it publicly, because African youth have understood. Black youth around the world have understood. This kind of manipulation doesn't work anymore. That's how it's always been, using false pretexts in hopes of achieving other goals. That doesn't work anymore. So it's unfortunate, but Burkina Faso is staying true to its path. We will continue to develop.
The future is uncertain, but one thing is clear, change is coming. The U.S. has to figure out another way to deal with an Africa that's saying no to its influence. This fight has changed everything. Traoré's call for Africa to control its own path and for black people to stand together has inspired millions from African villages to cities across the world. It is only a matter of time before Western influence is totally flushed from Africa. The battle is far from over, and the next chapter is just beginning. Think. Is Traoré right to stand up against an American general, or is he taking too many risks? Should Langley apologize, or is he just doing his job? Jump into the comments section and share your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss our next video. You can also check out our video on Traoré's response to the French president's racist comments. Africa's voice is getting louder. Stay with us so you don't miss what's next.